Okay. I'll turn this off. How you doing?
Right. Yeah, not too bad. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. COVID is still not as bad here as I don't think it's in the UK. You got all these lockdowns and stuff. We don't. I mean, New York's a bit quiet. We went into New York yesterday, but where we live around here in Connecticut, we're not too bad really.
Yeah, it's been hectic here like the last couple of days.
Is it?
Yeah, homeschooling as well. It's just if I had hair, I'd be pulling it out.
Oh God, I can't imagine. I wouldn't have the patience for that.
Yeah, and during all that, I'm still working as well. So
Bloody hell.
no wonder I'm going grey.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I couldn't handle that. Luckily, my boys are older.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So we'll just start off whenever you're ready, just from where we finished off last time, really.
Yeah, I'm ready, mate. You ask a question and I'll answer it. Yeah. Fine.
So I think just last time we finished off where we done on about where you'd finished your playing career and that sort of thing, and then you'd moved on. So when you finished your sort of playing career, then did you ever sort of miss it? Did you struggle when you first sort of announced your retirement?
I didn't miss it, and I'm thankful and pleased I didn't miss it straight away. I've never missed it, which is a great. I think it's a great sign of my satisfaction with what I did in my career and my time, particularly at Middlesbrough in those 12 years, and what I accomplished there and how I enjoyed it. I knew it was the right time to retire. I talked about my injury at Charlton. I wanted one more season. I had that Sheffield Wednesday. It was a slog, really hard work in that division. And I had to have surgery on an injury I got right at the end of almost the last week of training. I hurt my hip. So I knew it was the right time to retire. No regrets. I've since worked with and spoke to players that I played with that do have regrets and did wish like if only this and if only that. But thankfully, I put everything into my career. Very privileged and honored to have that kind of career, and I give it everything. And I think I played just under 600 games, professional games in total. So I'm and I got to nearly 36 years of age. I think it's 18 years as a pro. So no, it was the right time to retire. I'm lucky that I can look back on it and have wonderful memories and some disappointments, of course, but no, it was the right time, and I don't miss it. I think what everybody will tell you, all former pros will tell you, they miss going into work every day and having 25 mates to goof around with, basically to mess around with, to fight, to flipping, take the mick out of, to enjoy training. It's just the best time. I'm sure people can imagine. Like you're in your prime of your physical condition. You're on this little road together in this football club, and the fun times, both on and off the pitch is what you miss. I miss training was great. I love training. I go in early and do my physical work. I train. You have lunch with the boys and stuff. It was just, people around the training ground, up in the canteen at Herworth and stuff. That's what I miss. I miss some of the people that are around the club, really, because players, they do come and go. But, when you're there a long time like I was, you do get to know a lot of the player, the players lounge staff and the staff in the canteen and so that's the people and things that I miss, but not the pressure of games. I didn't really enjoy, I don't know whether we said this earlier, but I can't say I enjoyed many games because the pressure to get points to win was so great. The only time I would say I would enjoy a game is if we're 3-0 up, and there's like 10 minutes to go, 5 or 10 minutes to go. Then I can switch off a little bit and relax a little bit. But any other scoreline, I'm a nervous wreck, and I want to make sure that they don't come back into the game. When the final whistle blows for a win, it was relief for me, just relief. Got great. We got those 3 points. Need them, brilliant. So there's not a lot of enjoyment in there, and there's disappointments, of course. Yeah. So that. The game side of it, I didn't miss because of the pressure and because of the feeling of wanting to win. I just wanted to win every single game, and you do everything, to try and enable that.
Yeah, I think it's a bit the same. Obviously, it's a lot different for fans, but where fans are the same, where they look forward to a
Yeah,
certain game, but it's always like the pressure of, oh, are we going to win this one? And you're always thinking, what if we lose? And it ruins your whole week and that sort of thing.
yeah, yeah. I'm sure. I'm sure the fans don't probably enjoy a lot of games either. I mean, they enjoy it at the end, and I guess I suppose you enjoy it at the end, but even then, it's just still relief. It's still relief for me. I mean, other players might be different, but when you want it so bad, when you get it, it's like, thankfully you've got those 3 points.
Yeah. So, like you say, so during your career, then, like sort of injuries and things, did you ever have a time where you struggled, or maybe you had a bad spell? Were you struggling, sort of? I know, like a lot of people struggle. Or were you struggling mentally? Were you struggling to keep focus, that sort of thing?
No, I had some. What I'd say is I've had my fair share of injuries. I really have. I mean, I've had a lot of surgeries from. Actually, my ankles were fine. I've had several knee surgeries. The one that I did in the FA Cup final, of course, was a major injury. I had bone bruising in my right knee against Leeds. I hurt it twice in the same game, and that injury, I think it's just like where the bones in the knee joint, they come together and they bang together. And I had this bruising and damage of this cartilage. And it was such a frustrating injury because my knee wasn't swelling because there was no damage to the major ligaments. But I was out for months. I don't even know when it was. I was out a long time. That was a frustrating injury. I did hernia type groin operations on both sides throughout my time. I remember doing the second one just before Steve McLaren came in. And that was good. Good to get that surgery done because I was fit for pre-season. I ended up playing a lot with Steve McLaren. The worst injury I probably had was at Roker Park, Sunderland away, obviously a derby match, big game, miserable night game, and a ball bounced in the middle of the pitch, and I'm running in to try and head it off of the bounce, and so was big Richard Ord from the big daft centre back. I get to the ball first, I head it, and he comes in the side there, and he heads the side of my face here, and I didn't know at the time, and I went in at halftime with a big boxer's swollen eye here, where the doctor's sort of saying, "Can you see out of the eye?" I said, "Well, yeah, just about." So he said, "Okay, you're okay." So I went out there. Actually, I made a good pass for Jamie Pollock to score the winning goal, so that was great. But I had an X-ray after that, the day or so after that, and I got pulled out of the next game at Ayresome Park, right like the day of the game, because the X-ray had shown that I got a depressed fracture of the cheekbone, my eye socket was cracked here. So that was a bad injury. And that I remember the Brian Robson and Viv Anderson coming to see me in hospital. So that must have been maybe the last season at Ayresome Park, because I think I had a surgery around the corner with a hospital. So that was a bad one. I was out for 4-6 weeks then with that. It's funny because I think I went away to get some sunshine to start my training again, and then it was right towards the end of the season, and we got promoted. So that was a bad injury. No, I mean, I've had my fair share of injuries. I mean, I think there was a little period in time where I struggled mentally we had some family health issues that was difficult for me to keep playing so well, and that was on your mind. Again, see, fans will never probably hear of players' mental issues.
Yeah.
And when there's stuff going on at home that's really upsetting, it's not, I mean, I suppose you can take time off, but you don't. I mean, you train and you play. It's so important. But there was only one moment in time where I had some issues where, it was difficult to focus a little bit for a few weeks. But that's the only time in 18 years. But again, I think people should be aware that can happen, and it can affect players' form. But no, I could go on and on about my injuries. I've had shoulder injuries. Ian Wright fell on my shoulder and put all his weight and popped my little, I think it's called the AC joint here, separated in there. I did that on both sides, actually. So yeah, I've had my fair share of injuries from literally from head to foot. But again, still managed to get a fair amount of games in there and have a decent career.
Yeah, that Sunderland game you were talking about there, was that the one where Jamie Pollock scored? Did it sort of hit his shin or something? I know he scored a winner there.
Yeah, I think that must have been it. I think I played a through ball and he went through. I think it was like a one-on-one situation. Go, okay, I would love to see it again. Love to see that again. My eye was probably flipping like that, but maybe I should have a look to see if I can find that.
Is that the green and sort of the green and gold away strip?
Yeah,
that was the season we got promoted, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would have been. That would have been it must have been the promotion season, because I'm sure we were Ayresome Park. It was Brian Robson. Yeah, it would have been that last season.
Yeah, so it'd be like sort of 94, 95 sort of
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, great times. Yeah, so sort of coming towards the end of your career, then you sort of went to. Did you first move to America and then do a bit of coaching before you started your sort of commentary career?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really. I mean, I made contact with a guy who was the head coach of the Harvard men's soccer team. I sent some emails to a couple of clubs in America, like, looking for some opportunities. Former Premier League player looking for something new, something different, a new challenge. And he emailed back saying, "Come over here and check out Boston. I'll show you our club team. Maybe you can look around Harvard and check out our team there." So he invited me over. So I went over to see him. And they showed us the city of Boston. And I said to Caroline, I remember speaking on the phone saying, "Wow, this is pretty nice here. This, it's kind of like a European feel. It's a simple flight back to London, 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
You've got the beaches of Martha's Vineyard and Cape Cod and Nantucket. You've got skiing in Vermont and New Hampshire." I'm like, God, this could be a really nice lifestyle. So we went back and came back out to check out even more, and just thought, well, yeah, but that we really like to do that. So we did the visa process. Took a long time, actually, really difficult to get a visa. And I got these, we went for this visa. It's a funny story. Let me just tell you the story. So again, we wanted to go to America, and there's a couple of local attorneys, lawyers that didn't know how I could do it visa wise. I went down to London and saw this lady, Susan McFadden. Yeah, she was a US immigration specialist in London, an American lady, lovely lady. And I went down there and explained that, I have some opportunities in America and I'd like to go over there and get a good visa so the family can be with me and we can stay in the country if we enjoy it.
Yeah.
And was speaking to her for about 2 hours in her office in London, and she kept shaking her head. I can't. Do you know this person? Have you got any family? Is there a business that could throw you over there? So, well, no, I've kind of finished my career as a footballer. I have no job at the moment. I have nobody to sponsor me over there. And she kept scratching her head, and she got up and she walked to the back of the office. She put up this big old thick book from the bookshelf, and she flicked through these pages, big thick book. And she said, maybe we can get you in on this. And what it was a visa for somebody who's got special ability. It's called an O1 visa. It's not an unusual visa, but normally that visa has to have somebody employ you. You can come over on an O1 visa to the US if a Microsoft or a big company says, this guy is special at what he does, we want him to come.
Yeah.
So she was saying, what she looked at in the book was that you can do it without an employer, but an agent working for you. So she said, if you know somebody over there that could act as an agent, then maybe we can find a way to get this O1 visa and get you over there that way. So what it meant I had to do is go and get newspaper articles and match programs and letters from people in the industry to say that I'm extraordinary. It's like extraordinary ability in your field visa. But she said the biggest problem you're going to have is, with all due respect, you're not extraordinary anymore. You were an extraordinary footballer in some ways. But you're not anymore because you've retired, and so we had to kind of make a case of, well, you're extraordinary in your field of soccer.
Yeah.
You can be coaching, you could be giving seminars and talks and stuff like that, maybe get into broadcasting. So we kind of made this case that I'm an expert in this field. And in that process, I got letters from Brian Robson, Steve McLaren, who was the manager of England at that point. Mm-hmm. I think Paul Ince wrote me a letter, Gareth Southgate, different people. I had magazine articles in 442 magazine and did a feature on me one time. I got, other national newspapers, local newspapers, even Gannett's, everything to try and make a case that I'm extraordinary in the field of our football. And I went down to Susan a couple of months later, and I had this stuff this thick. And I said, boom, there you go. I got England manager there. I got a lot of good stuff, newspaper articles, magazine articles. And she sort of quickly flicked through it and said, well, you do know that even with all of this, your chance of getting this visa is still 50-50. So I was like, wow, it's really difficult. Yeah. But we did get the phone call a few months later. I think I had to pay £1,000 to get it processed. It's cost money as well for this. but anyway, the phone call came through. She had me on speakerphone saying, Robbie, you're on speakerphone. Here it is, Susan McFadden's office. Yes, you've been given this O1 visa. So that was a kind of a quick one, not really quick, but that was a story of how I got the visa.
Yeah.
We moved to America. A green card followed pretty quickly. And back to finally answer your question, I did a little bit of coaching at this guy, John Kerr's soccer team called the Boston Bolts. And soon after I arrived in America, actually, I met a guy called Ed Kelly, Irish guy, who's the head coach of the Boston College men's soccer team. And he wanted me, wanted me to come and coach the team. I mean, I'd go in as a volunteer assistant. I couldn't get paid for this, but I wanted to do it. And I did my coaching, the UEFA coaching license in England. I did my US soccer license, B license in the US.
Yeah.
So I went in there and, we won. And the short that I was only there for, I did it kind of constantly for one season. And we went from number 35 in the country, because they rank everything in the US. Everything's ranked. And, we went from number 35 in the country to number 1 and in that 1 year period. And it's the only time that I kind of brag a little bit, really, or give myself a pat on the back that, wow, you kind of made a difference there, because they weren't doing much before you came. And afterwards, they kind of drifted away again. But in that year, I coached that team with everything that I got from my experience playing, from my coaching license, that side of stuff. But simple instruction, systems of play, some attacking themes to think about, getting players in the right spots, screaming on the sideline of maintain your shape and and we won. We won the ACC conference, which is the best soccer league in the US, Division 1. We won the ACC tournament. So we ended up the year as number 1 team. We lost in they have a national tournament. We got knocked out by I think it was called a university called Quinnipiac with long ball stuff. We'd lost, so we didn't actually win the national championship. But we had a great season, and I thought, wow, the stuff that I've learned over the years is kind of valuable, and it works. Now, they wanted me to be full-time, Ed Kelly, not surprised. Ed Kelly won the coach of the year, by the way, because of his team had done so well, which was great. But I did know a guy called Dave Roberts, who's from Middlesbrough, and he used to work for Sky Sports News, and he used to interview me at the training ground for Sky. Yeah. And I remember we swapped messages around that time, or actually before that, saying, if you ever go to America in New England, look me up, because I'm going to go over there and work for ESPN, and maybe they'd like to speak to you regarding doing some of their coverage, some of their commentaries.
Yeah. So did he put your name forward then?
Sorry?
Did he put your name forward then?
Well, he just said, give us a ring when you're over there, and then I can put your name forward if you want to do it. So I think around that BC time, I called Dave Roberts. I wasn't earning any money at BC, and very little at doing the coaching of the youth coaching. And he said, okay. And he spoke to his producer, Steve Polisi, and Steve Polisi said, come and do an audition. And I went up and did a game audition, cans on, off tube, they call it, off the monitor.
Yeah.
I worked with a guy called JP Della Camera, who's a famous soccer commentator here in the US, works for ESPN and others now, I think. And I did a commentary, and I guess they liked what I did. And I started to do more and more of that. And that's what, at the end of that season with BC, Ed Kelly saying, please come with us full time, be my full-time assistant, get you some money, and we get you started. But ESPN was saying, well, we've used you a bit. We want to use you more. We want to do a full-time contract. So I had a really intense month of deciding which road to go down. And this was the fork in the road that you can talk about, sliding doors, which one you're going to go in and all that stuff. And I think I made the right call and went with the broadcasting road. And I said to Ed Kelly, I can't continue doing that. I don't know where my future lies in coaching. There's a thing in college coaching where you can't be a head coach of a team unless you've got a bachelor's degree, a 4-year degree. And like probably 99% of professional footballers in England, we go straight from school really to go on that path. So I didn't have a degree. So I didn't know whether I could continue and be a coach of that college, which is a really nice job. So I went into broadcasting, ESPN, did game commentary, started doing some shows, which I found very difficult, speaking into a camera, because in the US at that time, you get a question from the host and you have to look into a camera and you answer like this, just like this, well, they should have a great chance of winning this game. They're very strong. So you have to look into a camera, which is it's harder than you think when you're in a studio situation where you've got a producer in your ear saying, okay, wrap it up in 10, 9, 8. Then you have to look back at the person who asked you the question and finish in the right amount of time, hopefully saying something that's interesting. and maybe introducing other guys that are on the set. So it was really a learning curve of figuring that out. And I remember driving back to Boston and phoning Steve Policey and saying, "Flipping out, Steve, I'm rubbish at this. This is difficult. I don't know what I'm doing." And to be fair to Steve Policey, he said, "You know what? You're doing fine. You're doing absolutely fine. You'll get more comfortable with more reps." And he was absolutely right. With more reps, I got more confident. So I was at ESPN for 4 years, enjoying it, game commentaries and shows. And then NBC, big broadcaster here, almost like the BBC, really. It's surprisingly won the rights to show the Premier League. I think it was with Fox before them. Fox Sports had the Premier League rights, and NBC went for it. And their producer, or executive organizing producer, was a guy called Pierre Musa. And Pierre did his due diligence and checked out all the kind of possibles in America. Obviously, former Premier League players was help and broadcasters, and he wanted me to be one of his guys. And I met him at 30 Rock, which is an NBC studios right in downtown New York City. And I guess I interviewed then, but he said, like, he wanted me to be one of those guys, and I'm like, I'm all in. They wanted to be like an intelligent analysis of the Premier League and getting some details and some tactical breakdowns, which is what I love doing. So that was 2013 where we started, and I'm still doing it right now. I feel like I've got one of the best jobs in America. If you like football, I have got one of the best jobs in this country, because I work for a brilliant broadcaster, NBC, that's done really well on their coverage, and it's been going great guns. We've got this season and then one more, and then we'll see if they continue to get the rights again, and this thing keeps going on. But it's been a fantastic experience that I love. Every week I go in there. We love our team that we broadcast with. It's a lot of work because we show every single game. It's not like Sky where they pick a game and show theirs, or BT. We show every game. So right now with COVID going on, they're separating the games out. So we have 4 game windows on a Saturday and Sunday often. But it's still, listen, I'm not going to moan and complain about it. It's a brilliant thing to be working on. And, I guess looking back at the story I've just told you, moving to America and getting this job, and my boys going through, one of them went to Boston College and one went to Northeastern University, great schools in Boston, and they've come out and they've got good jobs. That's kind of we're getting to a point where, it was a risky call to move to America, and it's not without consequences of not seeing my brother and my mum and dad and Caroline's family and all our family and friends, tons of friends up in the Northeast. We don't see them as much as we'd like, but it's kind of worked out well, where I love what I do. My boys are doing great, and we're doing okay.
Yeah, obviously you've got a good life, and you're enjoying the job. Obviously, like you were saying there, you're getting paid to watch football, talk about football, and you don't have the pressures of the coaching, and especially these days where you're always one game away from being sacked, aren't you?
The only thing I'd say about that is, and you're right, and that's, I guess, what's overriding everything. But I do miss the coaching. I do miss having influence and being able to help young players get better and to understand the game a little bit more and to organize them. And, I do miss that. And I knew at that time, at that fork in the road, I think the longer you go down that road, well, certainly the longer you go down the broadcasting road, I think it's tougher to get back into coaching. Yeah. And I'm 52 now. I don't know whether I'll ever go back to coaching, but all I'd say is I miss it. I miss helping players. And I think it's, if there's one thing that I guess I'm helping educate the US viewers on the game and showing them some intricacies. But I think everything that players have had long careers, you should put something, I don't know, put back into the right phrase or not, but it's such a shame if you don't help and you don't tell young players about your experiences and help them grow and help them learn. I feel I'm doing that now through broadcasting with general fans and new fans, hopefully to the Premier League. But I do miss, not working regularly with younger players and try and make them better.
Yeah, and obviously that time on the training pitch as well, it still gives you a bit of a buzz, doesn't it, when you're on the training pitch, seeing all these youngsters coming up, being where you were all them years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I was also, I always wonder, like, what would I be doing now if I was in England? I have no idea. I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know where I'd be. Would I be doing coaching? I know probably for sure that I wouldn't be analysing Premier League matches every weekend. on national television in front of, you know, millions of people, because that goes to the top players that played for England or played for United, Liverpool, which I didn't. So I probably wouldn't have been doing that. So, you know, in that regard, what a good move that I can come here and I can do that, because I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be doing that there. But I may be in media in the UK. I don't know. I did some games for BBC Radio 5 Live. I think I did a Middlesbrough game. I did some for the local Borough TV at the time. But yeah, I do sometimes think back and think, what would I be doing if I stayed, you know, in England, basically.
Yeah. Did you do a bit of coaching for Bentley Falcons as well then in Boston, was it?
Oh, Bentley
Falcons, yeah. Was that like an amateur team or something?
Yeah, I didn't. So they were. So it's funny because when I landed in Boston, John Kerr, the guy that invited me over, had a friend of his called Pete Simonini, and Pete Simonini was the head coach of a small college called Bentley College.
Yeah. And
he said, "Go and get Robbie. Robbie's going to be chomping at the bit to do something." So when I first landed, I said that I was doing some work for this club team, Boston Bolts, but I also helped out at Bentley College, and that was an interesting scenario. I mean, again, that was just before I met Ed Kelly at Boston College. So I went to Bentley College, helped out Pete Simonini for a little bit, and then I met Ed Kelly and joined full time to Boston College. I had to tell Pete Simonini, "Sorry, Pete, but BC it's a big school, Boston College, very nationally recognized, tremendous university." So I jumped ship from Bentley to go to Boston College, and that's when we had that success. So yeah, you're right. I did go to Bentley just for that first season. So I arrived in August, and it's the fall season, the US men's soccer. So I went straight into it, and I had a good time actually. Bentley College is just down the road where I was living in Boston. It's in Waltham, Massachusetts, and great facilities. I mean, just open your eyes. Some of the facilities here for colleges are incredible, like almost as good as Herworth facilities in some regards, in some of the weight rooms and the facilities and stuff. So Bentley was really good. It's a Division 2 college, but still I enjoyed it. But there I went from there to BC, and then BC to the broadcasting.
Yeah. So you mentioned Dave Roberts there got you into it. Did you know of him previously? Because I know he used to do a bit for Sky Sports and Borough TV when it was one of the first TV channels for a football team.
Yeah, I knew Dave Roberts. So Dave Roberts helped with my testimonial as well. Not only at Sky Sports News, but I think Borough TV, and I did various things with Dave, and he helped out my testimonial. It was a big part of my testimonial. You know, and those guys I will forever thank. You know, that was an amazing year in my life, really, in 2002. 2002 is when I left. 10 years there, yeah. So Dave Roberts, you know, if you again, who knows, you know, if I hadn't called Dave Roberts, you know, it's certainly, you know, that's why networking in this country, I think less so in England, but networking is massive here, where you network, you get to know people, and you get on by the networks that you kind of get. And Dave Roberts was a very important part of me doing what I'm doing right now. I mean, obviously I've had to do it fairly well to continue doing it, but open that door. Dave Roberts opened the door at ESPN, and I don't know whether I'd have got through that door without him. I just don't know. Probably not.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And obviously you used to a lot of the commentaries with Alistair Brownlee, who sadly passed away now, but back in the day, before the Borough TV started out.
Yeah, I mean, Alistair Brownlee, Gordon Cox were the two kind of local guys that I loved to bits, really, and they were so great at what they did. Really sad to see that of Alistair Brownlee from here in the US, not being closer to that. I mean, what a guy, what a flipping guy. I'd never known a person love the club as much as he did. So yeah, worked with Alistair Brownlee, worked with Gordon Cox. They were the local ones really that I spent most time with. But I didn't do a ton of that stuff really, because, you know, when you're playing, you don't have a lot of time. But no, I'd say those two guys kind of helped me and were tremendous throughout my time at Middlesbrough.
Yeah. So when you sort of retired then, did you ever want to go into coaching full-time, like at a top level? So did you ever sort of think like the likes of Southgate, Paul Ince, some sort of people who went on to coach at the top level?
I was definitely interested in it, yeah. And maybe if I didn't come over to the US, that's probably what I'd be doing right now. Probably would be coaching. I did do my UEFA B license, which I did. I ended up doing that. Who did I do that with? Yeah, you know what? I think Big Nigel Pearson was on that that coaching course. You kind of do it locally at a college up in further up north from Middlesbrough. There's a college up there, Hoffel. Is it Hoffel College? that I did the preliminary bits of my UEFA. Then I went down and did more down in Lilleshall. But yeah, I think Nigel's on that. No, I probably would have been doing coaching. Yeah, I did the UEFA B, and I would have done the A if I'd have continued staying in the country. But yeah, I mean, around Middlesbrough, I mean, I was a big pal of I've gotten well with Gareth Southgate. We roomed together for that season. I think I told you earlier.
Yeah.
Got on really well with him, and I don't know. Would I be coaching at some point? I don't know. Probably that's what I'd have been doing.
Yeah, because I think the way Gareth Southgate went into it wasn't really sort of the conventional way, was it really? Because he wasn't. I mean, I don't know if he had done his coaching badges, but he was literally retired and then straight into the top job at Middlesbrough. Yeah. He's doing well for himself now, isn't he? But
yeah,
that was a bit rushed for him.
Yeah, it was a bit rushed for him, and I remember at the time I think it was a time where there wasn't a lot of money coming into the squad, wasn't there, from the owner?
Yeah,
there wasn't a lot of money coming in. I think there were signings that were made that he didn't know much about. I think it was a difficult time for him. But maybe if I stayed around, I could have joined him at the club at some point, coaching at some capacity. You just never know. You never know. What I do know is I've got no regrets whatsoever. I guess based on the road that I went down, I gave it, again, like I did as a player, I gave it everything to try and be good at it and to make my bosses happy, which is ultimately what we've all got to do, really, haven't we? Try and make our bosses happy to get on in the world. And I think I did that with my playing career. And, I think I'm doing it again with broadcasting now, doing it now for, well, what's that now? Like, it's just, about 10 years or something now, isn't it?
We're coming up 10 years, wasn't it? Yeah.
Something like that, yeah. ESPN for, I think, 4 years, NBC for now, nearly 7, nearly 8. So, yeah, plenty of time.
Yeah, was that 2006 then? Was that round about the time you moved to America then? Because that was when Southgate got the job, wasn't it?
Yeah, 2006. And was it? Yeah, and then I started at Boston College 2007, and then ESPN around 2008, and NBC around 2013, yeah.
Yeah, because that's when McLaren had took the England job, didn't he? Just before he announced it the week before the Middlesbrough played at the UEFA Cup final.
Right.
So
yeah, I don't know those details. I think I can't remember those details. I'm not as flipping crazy about it as you are.
Yeah, I remember everything. The first game, the walking up the steps and all that sort of thing. The smell of the Bovril and the old school stuff. Yeah, I love it. I live for it. Especially these days.
I know. We all miss it. We all miss having fans. I can't imagine what the fans are going through at the moment. I can't imagine not getting down to, well, I guess all over, not just the Riverside, but everywhere, like to watch their team. I mean, I cover the Premier League, obviously, and I try to say now and again on TV, like, Leeds is a big deal. It's a big club, and it's a shame we're not seeing them. I know they're big rivals of Middlesbrough, of course, but not seeing them in the fans in the stadium. Aston Villa, Villa not seeing their team at the moment with the way they're going in that Villa Park. So that's kind of the stuff that we try and put over here, is that when people don't know, Americans don't know who Leeds United are, so part of our job is to try and kind of educate them a little bit. And the no fans is just living awful for everything. Our broadcast, is still not the same. But hopefully, we're kind of starting to come out of it with these vaccines flying around there. I know my father-in-law's had his injection. My dad's, I think, in the next couple of weeks. So hopefully, it won't be too far away now.
Yeah, hopefully. Like I say, it's been a long time, hasn't it? It's been nearly a year since the last time I went to one of the Middlesbrough games, because with the way it's been going, so really missing it.
Yeah, sure.
Miss the buzz of the crowd and just the atmosphere and everything. But hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be back soon.
Fingers crossed, mate. Yeah, absolutely. With Boris Johnson getting his act together and stuff. I mean, again, it's difficult for us to get a full sense of what's going on, but through our family and stuff, it sounds like the vaccine's getting rolled out. In the US here, not good. I mean, not good in many ways, but the vaccine's been slow to get off the shelves, basically, into people's arms, which different states have the responsibility to do that. So it's not going great at the moment here.
Yeah, so sort of outside of your work, what you're doing at the moment, then, is there anything you were doing? Like, do you have a daily routine to just sort of keep yourself occupied? You go for walks and that sort of thing?
Well, of course, the Premier League season's still going on, so my work is still ongoing. I mean, a lot of my time's watching games, basically. We do a podcast as well. So Robbie Earl, we're the two Robbies. We've got a little brand, the two Robbies, and we do a podcast every week, or actually sometimes twice a week if there's a lot of Premier League games going on, where we just go through each kind of the big games, talk the big stories. So even if I'm not working the weekend, because there's a little bit of rotation there, there's 3 guys for 2 seats.
Yeah.
So that you're kind of 2 weekends on and 1 off. And if I'm off, I'm still watching the games because I've got to do the podcast. And if there's Champions League games, European games, that's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So between sometimes Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it's kind of a lot. So yeah, watching games, reading news stories, yeah, and then just trying to play a little bit of golf when I got a chance to do that in the warmer months. Yeah, I try and keep fit. I exercise every day or every other day when I can, just to try and keep things ticking over. I do have a few kind of aches and pains, I guess, from my career. My back is pretty crappy. I'm doing stuff. I've done it this morning. I do stuff all the time to try and get my back stronger. Because when it inflames up and I'm out, I can't do much for a few weeks. So that's my shoulder. I mean, I can go on. I mean, there's a few old injuries that are going to always probably be a bit sore. So my exercise is to try and keep those to a minimum. But other than that, no. I mean, we live near Stamford, Connecticut, where the NBC Sports studio is.
Yeah.
New York City itself is only an hour drive. We went down there yesterday. Me and my wife had a walk around. So yeah, I mean, it's a lovely lifestyle. Of course, in the summer we get the advantage of being all that time is off for us when the Premier League season's finished. So that's when I'll travel back to UK, see family, and maybe do a little bit of travel around Europe. But yeah, that's kind of the main time off. Other than that, as you know, the football season, the Premier League season is kind of relentless and long, so that keeps me busy for most of the time.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, and obviously with the commentary and stuff, there'll be a lot more work than what people see, because I mean, you'll have to do all your research, checking out teams' forms, that sort of thing, and I can imagine there's a lot of sort of information that goes into it.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's some former players. It doesn't seem to me they do a lot of preparation really, and they just turn up and they give their opinion. I go much more into it than that. I'm probably as prepped as the commentators go into the game. Not always, because there's so many games, it's hard to do that. But I look at some of my sheets now. I have, I get game sheets. NBC send us a stat pack every week with all the stats and all the information and potential storylines. I do my own front sheet to try again to get ahead of all that. Player stats, important stuff, formations, how they set up in their last game, injury, suspensions, interesting points. So I do a lot of prep. Maybe too much. I probably use 10% of the prep that I go into a games, but I don't know. I feel better about doing that. I don't want to be sat on set where I don't know what to say, which is, and I got to talk off the top of my head. I want to know that I want to get a point about those overlapping fullbacks from Liverpool. I want to get that point in, and then I've got things to go to. So, a lot of what I do, and I've learned over the period of time, is to try and say interesting things. If I say a lot of boring stuff, it's not good TV. So I've got to, sometimes that's strong opinions if it's the time to do that. Sometimes it's something tactical if I think that's strong enough. So it's all in the kind of the art, I suppose, of being a pundit and being an analyst and trying to make the game interesting, but also give strong opinion when I need to.
Yeah, and not just say like the usual things where people say, "Oh, it's a game of two halves" and all that sort of carry. And you've got to say what you think and obviously get the facts right and things like that.
Yeah.
Also, as well, I just say your podcast. I love your podcast as well. I was listening to it last night actually, whilst I was at work. So you and Robbie Earl having a bit of a debate over like the Man City and all sorts of things. I love all the sort of chat you go through and all the stats and everything.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, we just trying to have a little. If there's something we disagree on, I think this last episode we disagreed on the Leeds thing. Robbie Earl talked about, what, Bielsa should tweak it a little bit, just try and be defensively, and I don't believe in that. Basically, I think he's produced what he's produced. They're doing brilliant in the Premier League right now. I mean, you can only be entertained with the way that they play. It's gung ho, it's crazy, it's man-to-man marking, it's throwing everybody forward. It's brilliant to watch, and I don't think he should temper that really. But anyway, that's the sort of thing that we need, and he thinks that he should. So yeah, we'll try and get into things if there's a debate, but we have to cover the main stories. And most, unfortunately for some fans, they're not going to hear probably enough of, I don't know, Burnley analysis. You got to remember where we're at, and there isn't. We have to. People are interested in the big clubs for the most part, so we always cover the big clubs and the debating points, what there is right now, whether it's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at United or Jurgen Klopp, or what's happening now with City and Pep's way of playing. So there's always stuff to talk about, and we try and do that and get more content out there through our podcast.
Yeah, I think the last one I listened to was you were talking about the recent games, Liverpool, Southampton, Man City, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, Man United having the chance to go top of the league and that sort of thing. Yeah, so it was.
Yeah, I mean, anybody who wants a little bit more, probably different sort of analysis of the Premier League can jump and find it. I mean, you can get it wherever you get your podcasts from. It's the Two Robbies podcast. We do it after every Premier League match week, sometimes in the week as well. If it's Champions League, as I said, we watch Champions League games. It's mainly focused on the Premier League teams, though. You're not going to get analysis on flipping Porto or other. It's the Premier League teams. But yeah, once a week, sometimes twice a week. It probably maybe is a little bit different to what I hear in the UK.
Yeah, like I say, I love it. Like I say, I've got it on mine. It's in my saved list, so I follow it as well. So yeah,
brilliant. Thank you. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so share that. You can share mine as well if you like.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. So I mean, I've actually got it on Spotify, but obviously, do you add it? Do you sort of edit it yourself then, or?
No, we do have a producer. We do have a guy. It's Jorge Bustamante, friend of ours that puts it together, and it is kind of under the umbrella of NBC.
Yeah.
So they kind of put it together and they put it out there. Again, like we do it after a match week, and like there's so much stuff to do during that week. We do need some help to do it. We can't edit it and throw it out there. So we have a guy that helps us come down with a bit of a rundown, what we should talk at, format, if you like, and we'll go through each topic on his format. So we do have a producer to help us to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'll finish on a few questions, and what I like to do now is just a new thing. It's a lot of like quick fire questions.
Okay.
So it's just for a bit of fun, really. Yeah.
All right.
So just a few things, especially the way things are at the moment, and yeah. So the first one, I'll say, so pineapple on a pizza. Do you think yes or no?
Yes.
I like you. Yeah, I asked Dimmy this the other day, and he said absolutely no way.
You asked who?
Dimmy Constantopoulos.
Oh, okay.
And he said no, yeah, because I mean, it's something my wife says no as well. I say yes, so it's always
divided. Yeah. I like that. It's the Hawaiian thing, isn't it? The ham and pineapple. Love it. Yep. Sorry, but I love it.
Yep. So also, tea bag first in the tea, or do you put the milk in first?
Well, hang on a minute. Tea should be made in a pot. So what you're saying is, so the tea's brewing in the pot. I put the milk in the mug first before I put the teapot. So milk in first for me. Sorry, was that long-winded?
Yeah, that's just, like I say, that's just another bit of a bone of contention in our house. The wife always does it one way and I do it the other way, and I'm like,
okay,
you can't put making a cup of tea. Obviously, I suppose it's a bit different in America now. They're not really big on tea, are they?
Not big on tea. No. If I ask for, I have to ask for an English breakfast tea. Because if I ask for tea, it could be Earl Grey, could be any random weird spiced herb tea. But yeah, so they do coffee pretty well. There's a zillion different places you can get coffee. Okay, carry on.
Yeah. So the next one, with regarding your meal, do you prefer chicken or turkey?
Oh, I prefer turkey. I got to say that my favorite dinner of the whole year is Christmas dinner. And what's bonus in America is that they have Thanksgiving, and their traditional meal for Thanksgiving is turkey. So a lot of Americans will have turkey for Thanksgiving and then have something else for Christmas Day, where I'm like, no, we have turkey on both of those days. So I get a brilliant turkey dinner on Thanksgiving in November, and I get another one just a few weeks later on Christmas Day. So turkey all day long. Yeah, love it. Roast turkey. Brilliant.
Yeah, good stuff. So match of the day or I'm a Celebrity?
Match of the day. Saying that, we did watch the I'm a Celebrity. We did manage to get a feed of that. So we did watch that. It was good. My wife loves it. But match of the day, yeah.
Yeah, I have to watch it as well because the wife and kids love it. But if football's on as well, I just come downstairs and watch the football.
Exactly.
No competition.
2 TVs, perfect.
Yeah. So another one, if you had the opportunity to go back in time, sort of when you were playing and change one of the following things, either having a longer playing career or being more successful in terms of like reaching more cup finals or winning trophies, which one would you choose?
Simple, isn't it? Winning trophies. Simple
Yeah.
for me. Simple. I had a long career, got in plenty of finals. That's the one thing that I'd change, is just that flipping that Leicester City game. You know, when we were 2 or 3 minutes away from winning the first major trophy, that was the one that we got so close to. And yeah, 3 cup finals, 3 losses. You know, that's tough to take. But so yeah, that's an easy question. Let's win those trophies with, if I could wind the clock back.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, especially that Leicester one. I think that was probably the closest that yourself and we actually came as a club at the time.
At that time, yeah. At that time, yeah.
Devastating. I'll still never forget it.
No.
Yeah, I think we mentioned it on the last one. Yeah, so 2 more left, and I'll let you get on with your busy schedule. So, big night out or a cosy night in?
I think a big night out. Still like a big night out. I think I've had so many, maybe because it's time now with COVID and this pandemic, but I've had a lot of cozy nights in.
Yeah,
We've had a lot, and I kind of miss going out right now. I miss going out and having and spending time with some friends and going out and blimey, having a drink and having a dinner or something. And yeah, so I guess right now that would be that. Yeah, good question.
Yeah, it's torture, isn't it? Yeah, and the final one. So, who, Ronaldo or Messi?
Messi all day long, 3 times every day. But unbelievable. So when I worked for ESPN, I covered La Liga. So I did Barcelona games every weekend. And he literally took my breath away, Messi, when he was in his pomp, in his prime, in his mid-20s. Yeah. Literally took my breath away in commentary, where I'm like, oh, I can't believe it. So, and I know Ronaldo's amazing as well, but Lionel Messi, wow. In all aspects of the game, really, in his vision, his awareness, his touch, his skill, never does crazy flicks or tricks, doesn't have to. The through balls, the vision, the awareness, the goals, the assists. Yeah, I'm just a massive Messi fan. I did game commentary when they beat Man United at Wembley that time. I did that for ESPN, flew over and watched that Barcelona team train at Wembley Stadium and watched close hands of Xavi, Iniesta, and Messi. So yeah, God, blimey, I just stunned, and I think we all should be so thankful of watching this guy play. He's not going to be at his best right now, but blimmin' heck, what an incredible player in all aspects of it, really, and it's such a humble guy. I watched him. I commented on loads of his games. He gets kicked all over the park, just jumps up again and gets on with it. Very rarely injured, and the production week in, week out in La Liga and the Champions League. You know, I can't. And I didn't see Pele play and stuff. I saw Maradona play a lot. Messi for me is the greatest ever that's ever done it. A consistent, incredible quality. So a long answer to your short question, but I feel strongly about that. And Messi, absolutely incredible.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously, it causes a lot of debate. They've both got their own attributes and things like that. But
yeah,
for me, Messi's just got the better ability and more of a team player as well, isn't he?
I mean, listen, we could talk all day about it, and I appreciate the hunger of Ronaldo, but in the beauty of the game and the beauty of his football, for me, and I know everyone's got a right to their own opinion. I'm telling my opinion is very, very strong and very set. Lionel Messi, I'd have much more in my teams than Ronaldo. Of course, they're both brilliant, but Messi for me by a mile.
Yeah, he's unbelievable, isn't he? Yeah. So thanks for that, Robbie. Like I say, it was good to chat with you again and hear what your thoughts are and that sort of thing. And hope you're doing well over there.
Yeah, well, it's been difficult times right now. We've just had this. I'm not sure the timings of this, but we've just had this siege on the Capitol building with Trump's last couple of weeks in power. Very difficult times for this country. Very difficult times, as well as the pandemic and everything else. We have some personal stuff in my family as well at the moment, so it's been a tough little period. But we'll get stronger. We'll come out of it stronger the other end. If it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. So
exactly.
Yeah, so it's been some tough times, but it's been nice chatting with David, and good luck with your podcast. Yeah, it's been good having a little chat, and all the best and good luck with it.
Yeah, it's good to catch up, like I say, with you, especially with yourself. Obviously, I remember from your whole time at Middlesbrough, so big fan of yourself and Middlesbrough. So yeah, it was great to chat to you and sort of hear your thoughts personally. And,
you're very welcome, mate. You're very welcome. Take care, and yeah, we'll do it again sometime.
Yeah, thank you very much, and I'll keep listening to your podcast as well.
Absolutely. Spread the word, man. Spread the word.
So,
cheers, David.
Thanks, buddy. All the
See you,
best,
mate. Take care.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye bye.